Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. So we're lecturing Michael Moore on his ineptitude. This idea, let's not pile on against Barkey, let's be nice to Barkey. This is exactly wrong. This is the stupidest, most counterproductive thing you can do. You run into people saying, oh, I went to all kinds of peace demonstrations under Bush and it had no effect. Exactly, because Bush didn't need left cover. The more peace demonstrations there were, the better Bush looked to his own reactionary, crazed base. The difference with Obama is if you attack him from the left as a warmonger, as a Wall Street puppet, as a sellout on the progressive issues that the left liberals care about, you hurt him really bad. That's why he's always looking to pick fights with Fox, with Hannity, with Limbaugh, and the assorted ogres of the right wing. That's how Obama functions. Now, ironically, you've now gotten to a point where peace demonstrations of a few 100,000 people in Washington would be devastating for Obama. They would have a real effect. You could really stop these wars. And this is exactly the moment where all the left liberal fakers, like Michael Moore, come out of the woodwork and say, oh, no, we've got to go easy on Barkey. He's our man. He's having such a rough time. He's so tired. He's under such attack. We've got to be solid with Obama, circle the wagons, and all the rest of it. This is the time when a determined primary challenge to Obama in the Democratic primaries could end the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and also get you somewhere on health care. Let's talk about health care for a minute. The word now is that the House Democrats are approaching 218 votes, they may already have them, to put a public option into this health care reform. I am very skeptical about this, but it may be true. And there are some people who say even in the Senate, a public option could go through. The provisos are, of course, that it would have an opt-out for certain states. Certain reactionary states would say, no, we don't want it. Or better yet, the oligarchs who run certain reactionary states would say no, and then the rest of us Okies and rednecks would be deprived of health care in those states. Good reason to leave those states if you happen to be in one, but that's the way it goes. This is being pushed by Schumer of New York. In other words, he wants to make it easier for this to go through. So here's the problem. There's a lot of, what can we say, euphoria coming from the Ed Schultz camp on left-wing talk radio that they are now about to enact the public option. There are even suggestions that it's going to be linked to Medicare, Medicaid in some form, although it's not the same thing. I would say, first of all, I want to know about the $500 billion of cuts to Medicare, because that's the deal breaker. Obama wants $500 billion of cuts to Medicare, and that is going to kill people. That is totally unacceptable. We don't want it. But here's what I think is likely to happen. The House will say we want a public option. The Senate will say, no, we don't want a public option. What will Obama do? Obama will stab you in the back. Obama will go with the Senate fat cats bought and paid for by the insurance companies, and he will say, no public option. So left liberals, get your backs ready. The knife is about to go in. You will be stabbed in the back. The only way to head that off is to attack Obama mercilessly as a Wall Street puppet, as a tool of the insurance companies, meeting secretly with the insurance companies, meeting secretly with Big Pharma, making dirty deals, selling you out, an absolutely unprincipled adventurer, a cynical demagogue who couldn't care less about any of these things, a megalomaniac in a delirium of narcissism who couldn't care less about the general welfare of the American people. If you go out and attack him that way, you actually get somewhere, because that stuff really hurts. The right-wing attacks don't hurt him. They help him. Left-wing attacks are absolutely precious. And just at this moment, when the left liberals could accomplish something by asserting principles, anti-war principles, and general welfare principles on health care, the left liberals, with Michael Moore at the helm, wilt and do nothing. So strip away Obama's left cover, you get somewhere. Be nice to Obama. I've seen this also coming from elements of the Mike Gravel camp from the last election. Obama is not the enemy. Yeah, he is. Obama is your enemy. Obama is the political factotum of the Wall Street ruling class. So you've got to stop him, and then maybe you get something through. But otherwise, I can see the betrayal coming. So left liberals, brace yourself. Your darling is going to betray you. He will disappoint you. He will betray you, and then he will attack you. So get ready for that. Now, concerning the war escalation, Cheney attacks Obama. He's dithering. Well, of course he's dithering. He is. This is a funny thing, right? He's got the weak side of Mussolini, I guess. He's got the indecisive side, not ready to enter the war. You can go back to 1940, find all kinds of interesting parallels. But the idea is, yes, Obama certainly is dithering. He's afraid to send the 40,000. There's also a charade going on here. The idea is that Karzai is being forced into a runoff. This was done by Senator John Kerry of Massachusetts, the rich elitist and effete snob. He was the last rich elitist and effete snob that we had from the Democrats before Obama. So now there's going to be a runoff. The runoff is going to be held on November 7th, which in Afghanistan is already the middle of winter with all kinds of snow. Remember, 38% of the voters in Afghanistan took part on the first round, and that will be even lower on the second round. It will be a Karzai victory. There's no way that Abdullah can prevail in this, but there it is. Pakistan is in civil war at this point. There's an offensive by 30,000 troops in Waziristan. There have been attacks on the Pakistani Army headquarters in Rawalpindi 2 weeks ago, assassinations of senior Pakistani officers, suicide bombs, and all the rest. So the strategy, once again, is use the U.S. military presence in Afghanistan to drive the Taliban. Of course, Taliban means what? Means a congeries, a completely heterogeneous collection of warlords, drug runners, rebels, fanatics, adventurers, freebooters, pirates, highwaymen, you name it. They're being driven into Pakistan for the purpose of fomenting civil war. In the middle of this, we have the terror attack on the Iranian Pastaran Revolutionary Guards in the Baluchistan province of southeast Iran. This is Jundullah. And as I had occasion to remark on Russia Today this past week, look at the Russia Today website. This is coming directly from the CIA. London Daily Telegraph, 25 February 2007. We're told that a high-ranking ex-CIA official says it's not a big secret that funding for separatists like Jundullah comes directly from the CIA classified budget. And we have one guy on the record, Fred Burton, former U.S. State Department counterterrorist official. These attacks, earlier attacks by Jundullah, fall in line with U.S. efforts to supply and train Iran's ethnic minorities to destabilize the regime. So it's not just the top-down CIA coup faction of Mousavi and Rafsanjani, not just the death to Russia, death to China faction of rich elitists from North Tehran and desperate housewives from that same place. Not just the Green Revolution, the attempted people power coup. There's also the ethnic separatism card. This includes Kurds, it includes Azeris, it includes Turkmen, it includes Baluchis, and again, Arabistan, the Arab minority of Iran along the coast of the Gulf, the Persian or Arabian Gulf, as you prefer. That's the oil area, that's the Abadan oil refinery, the Karg Island tanker terminal. That's where we have the BP Liberation Front, British Petroleum Liberation Front, because if you detach them, that's who's going to own that oil. That would leave an landlocked, no-oil Iranistan for the Persians in the middle. That's the goal. A couple of more words about this in a minute.